circle of rat back and I'm going and leaving tracks and mourning. And I don't give a crap whether you streaming, you torrent this. You can try to contest, but you'll be needing an army. Beat them in Normandy, current rappers eat to the warning stone.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. So, this was a very, this was SmackDown made some progress. This is actually very tense. It's a tense episode of SmackDown here. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to go through any real detail of what happened on SmackDown, but the Roman Reigns and the Usos. Let's talk about them first. I'm going to start using my notes differently than I used to use them before. Anyway, so Roman basically throughout this episode, well, at least early part of the episode, he's talking about how he saved the Usos and that they were going to embarrass the family. And Jay basically said, like, never embarrass the family. And they had lost earlier. So Roman's implying they were going to lose again. And so this, of course, leads the conversation to Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy basically saying, like, hey, he's tired of this. Roman stuck his nose in their business and cost them the titles, got them DQ'd on purpose. And that, Roman's jealous that they want to be the top guys, that they can be top guys too. And that, he's trying to tear them apart. But he says, I'm my brother's keeper, not you. And then later he gets into an argument with Jay, where he kind of reiterates that and asks Jay, do you think we could have won? And Jay said, yeah, of course we could have won. And so it believes that Jimmy and Jay both believed they could have won, but Roman didn't believe they could win. That's why he interfered. So then Jimmy is really hot under the collar, starts calling Roman a disgrace and saying that you're my family. Jay is my family. It's his twin. That's, of course, is his family. And Jay is like, look, I'm trapped in the middle here. My loyalty is to the chief, but you, my brother, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? And he basically like, all right, look, you go tell Roman to meet me in our locker room. So Jay goes to Roman. He's supposed to bring Jimmy back to Roman. He didn't do it. He instead comes back by himself, and Roman is definitely perturbed at that. And, Roman said, look, nobody's going to confuse me with Jimmy. He ain't my twin brother. But, so you need to handle this. You need to smarten this guy up. And he's like, look, Jay is like, he's in the locker room. He's in our locker room. And Roman is just thought that was hilarious. That, our locker room. You mean your locker room? You mean his locker room? Like, whose locker room is it? And so then, Roman was like, look, why are you letting him pull you in the middle of this? Like, is it the Usos locker room or is it Roman's cousin's locker room? And Jay, still sad puppy dog, Eeyore sulking. And this was good shit because Jay at this point was really out of it. He didn't know what to do. So later they get to arguing again because of course they do. Jimmy is pacing in the room, and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy is there. So I'm glad that they have something. It's a nice little callback to remind us that he won that Battle Royal. So Roman comes in, he's flashing around the Universal title, and he's like, you see this? And Jimmy like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. I care about my brother. I care about what's in here. He's talking about his heart. And says that one day you're going to be a Hall of Famer, but you ain't going to be announced as Roman Reigns. You're going to be announced as a spoiled bitch. Called him a bitch again. So Jay is like, all right, look, enough is enough. All right, I'm tired of being in the middle of this. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you. I'm surprised that you said that to Roman. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of both of y'all. I'm out of here, man. So he walks off. He walks off in a huff. And Jimmy is like, all right, Roman, it's just you and me. You want to fight? You trying to throw hands? What up? And Roman he got almost sad. He was like, why you want to fight me? You want to hit me? What you want to fight me for? And he said, talk about how, all about representing the family and, representing, being the best. That's what we do. That's how we put food on the table. That's how we take care of ourselves. We're the best. And he says, why would you do this? He asked Jimmy, why would you do this? Why you do this? Why you acting like this? Why you put him in the middle of this? And then he kind of starts breaking it down. He's like, y'all twins, but who came out first? Who came out first? And Jimmy was like, I did. He's like, so you the oldest. You the oldest. I'm looking to you to be the responsible one. I shouldn't have to look to him to pull you back. He says, it's not supposed to be about you. It's not supposed to be about me. It's supposed to be about us. It's supposed to be about us. He says, and he looked at him. He's almost put his hands on his hips, which would have been funny if he did it. And says, how could you treat your brother like that? That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. Because now at this point, Jay is captured. Right? At this point, Jimmy rather, is beat. He's like, shit, his shoulders are slumped, hat all like tucked on his head. He's like, man. He looked like Roman had a good point. He's like, you got to go make this right, brother. You got to go make this right, man. Go ahead, go make it right. So that was the cliffhanger for the Usos. We don't know where it's going from here. And it made us, they did a great job of taking Jimmy off the title trail, right? Because you would naturally think that was where they were going. I think I said that last week. Is that it looked like we were going towards Jimmy versus Roman. But now Jimmy has basically said, look, I don't care about that title. I care about my brother. I'm my brother's keeper. So that's a biblical reference, right? To Cain and Abel. When God or the Lord asks the surviving brother, where is your brother? And he says, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? And, then we find out that he had done the most dastardly thing possible. So I guess that's where we're going here. That we're going to go Cain and Abel with the Usos, which is a natural storyline between the two of them. It's all about which one is going to flip. And it seems like the flip is probably going to end up being, of course, people want to say Jay attacking Jimmy. That is eventually it's going to be that Jimmy is the problem. Jimmy needs to be taken care of. But I think that it's equally interesting, or it'd be more interesting if Jimmy attacked Jay. And the reason I think that Jimmy would attack Jay, because the sad part, and I think the weirdest part, is that if you look at the Cain and Abel story and try to make it a one-to-one analogy or a comparison to the Bible, then Roman is God in this situation. But if you look at it from that perspective, Roman is sort of God. The divine right of kings. Roman is essentially a king on this roster. Kings rule by the hand of God. Therefore, they are the gods on earth. So when you look at Smackdown, Roman is sort of the god in this situation. And they're Cain and Abel kind of fighting over his attention. Jimmy doesn't really want it. Jay does. He's already sort of submitted to Roman's authority and has been doing his bidding and has been yielding the best, the most blessings from the union of sorts. So now Jimmy is sort of in a position where, he's gotta make do. He's got to play catch up. And that's basically how it worked out in the Bible. You had Cain and Abel. Abel was seen as the favored son, the favorite of the two, and Cain killed him. So now in this situation, we're going to see that at first, it seemed that Roman really liked Jimmy more, but he was just doing that to manipulate Jay. I always go back to that scene where Roman basically talks about Jimmy, and he tells Jimmy would have won that match. Jimmy would have did it, that he had more faith in Jimmy than he does in Jay. And he says a similar thing here, where he says, you're the older one, I shouldn't have to look to him to pull you back. They're probably like 10 minutes apart or some shit, But he's putting he's making those like 10 minutes that they could have been born apart. He's trying to maximize that by saying you are responsible for Jay. He is your brother. You are responsible for Jay. If something bad happens to Jay, if he fails, if he messes up, it's on you. And Jimmy believes it. Because he said earlier, he is his brother's keeper. In the Bible, Cain was like, am I my brother's keeper? Kind of like, no, I'm not supposed to keep up with him all the time. But Jimmy is. He admits that he is. He looks after Jay. So when Jay is off and being weird and doing silly shit, Jimmy is expected to pull him back in, to rein him in. But he's having a hard time because he also has this problem with, and it's personal with Roman because, like, we another callback. When Jay finally acknowledged Roman, it was because of Jimmy. It was Jimmy getting involved, So you have this thickly layered story here, and with Roman just keeping both of these boys under pressure. Jay is about to bust a gasket. I don't see how he doesn't take like medicine. He must be popping pills on TV. He needs to smoke a cigarette. He's under that much stress. He needs a cigarette. Now, I'm pretty sure at some point it's going to be, Roman versus Jimmy, with Jay dangling from a shark cage or something like that, and the first one to unlock the cage gets custody of Jay or some silly shit like that. Now, back in the day, we probably would have done something silly like that, but today it's probably just going to be, Roman versus Jimmy eventually, or eventually we're going to get there. But I like that Jimmy is not interested in being the champion or anything right now. He's more interested in looking after Jay and reforming the team and making the team strong. And I think that's very important. So, but Roman isn't, he's the most important guy on the roster, so he has more than one job. So he's also feuding with Rey Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio comes out there and cuts this really awesome promo about Dominic. And he was really emotional about, Roman putting his hands on his son. And he says that he failed to protect his son. And he says that Roman can do whatever he wants to his family, but he cannot do anything he wants to his. And that I'm going to show you what a real family looks like. He goes out to the ring, calls Roman out. Roman comes out there and he says, "Look, I acknowledge you." And Roman is pleased by this. He's pleased by the acknowledgement. Then he says, he called him a rat bastard, called him a son of a bitch, and says that you put your hands on my son, so I gotta fight you. Even if I lose the fight, I got to fight you. And then he challenged him to a Hell in a Cell match. And Roman didn't really get a chance to acknowledge it, even though it says, "I acknowledge you, Ray." And then that's, it's like, it came out of nowhere, like kendo stick, like it just popped up like GTA, and it's like whack, whack, whack. And we get this really cool fight between Roman and Ray, which is like one of the few times they've ever hooked up. I think this might be the first match they've ever had. And it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match. Which, there's something to be said about the first match in a feud being a Hell in a Cell match, and that just being absolutely ludicrous in this day and age. But that's just kind of how the world works, But they fight back and forth. Then we find out that maybe it was Dominic that handed Ray the kendo stick, because when Ray is in trouble, here comes Dominic with a kendo stick, and then he's fighting with Roman. He's fighting both Mysterios, and he manages to knock down Ray, and then he power bombs Dominic over the top rope onto the floor, and then obviously he probably landed on a crash pad or something out there. It was like a Hernandez border toss. From inside the ring, outside the ring. It looked visually interesting, but of course you had the camera cut and the camera up close, so you couldn't see where he was going. But I still sold it at first. Like the initial reaction, I was like, "Oh shit," and then I was like, "Oh, okay," because I was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?" I thought he was gonna powerbomb him into a corner or something, but him tossing him outside the ring, I wasn't expecting that. But of course, that shock lasts about a half second before you realize he probably landed on the fluffiest pillows on earth outside the ring. But this is really good. I've wanted Ray versus Roman for a long time. A matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I thought that match would, I don't know why I thought it would be at WrestleMania, but I thought that would be one of the matches at WrestleMania. I called it a long time ago. And the story is exactly what I wanted it to be. In so much as that it's two fatherly figures. But one is the good, caring, loving father. and the other is the tyrant, the abusive, manipulative father. And Roman is, of course, around the same age as the Usos, but he has this authority over them. He speaks to them with such authority. And it's reiterated in how he talks to Jimmy, not just how he talks to Jay. We already know he puts Jay in the back pocket. But how he was talking to Jimmy on this show was with such disappointment and with such anger. Like Jimmy should know better, almost like a dad talking to his son. And that's the kind of relationship he has with the Usos. But Ray is literally Dominic's father. He literally has the rage of a father. I still don't believe this match should be a Hell in a Cell match. I still don't think this should be a Hell in a Cell match. But it's going to be fun regardless. I said on Twitter, and I maintain, Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That's just in ring. What he's been able to do in his later years, as far as getting his promos together, and I think it's partly when they give him things that he can pull from, like with his family. It's been something like he doesn't need the work anymore. Like when you go back to look at Ray, and he was trying to be a character, and he was doing trying to heavy-handed booyaka drops in his promo. It was like he didn't have anything to say. And then he started getting into the promos with Eddie. And as silly as the whole "I'm your poppy" shit was, it worked because it got Ray comfortable talking. It got Ray comfortable doing promos. It got Ray, but he still wasn't the best at them, but it got him comfortable doing it. But now he's really good. He's emoting well and everything too. It works out great. And so Roman is the best guy on the roster right now. One of the best guys on the roster, if not the best. And Rey Mysterio to me is like, when Shawn and Undertaker went out, I went like straight to Ray and Jeff. They're not going to do anything with Jeff. So my guy is Ray. And Ray's not going to win. The opportunity of him winning is zero. But I think that still having the match is still worth having. And it's going to be a really fun match. The question I'm going to have, though, is how are they going to end this? Because Ray can't win the title. And I really don't like the idea of, and I know they did it with Brock 2 years ago, where they had Ray fight Brock because Brock put his hands on Dominic, and Ray still managed to lose and not look disgraceful losing. But at some point, somebody's when he's standing up to his family, standing up for his family rather, he has to persevere. Like I never really liked the idea of, a man saying, I'm going to stand up for my wife or I'm going to stand up for my kids, and then getting beat right in front of him. That's just heart-wrenching, But when it's a guy like Ray, because he's so small, and usually the person he's standing up to is so big, he can get away with it. So it creates a very unique situation. And I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. So, I'm down with all of this. I'm excited. I'm legit excited because this is something I'm actually gonna sit down and be like, I'm all in. I'm locked in on Ray and Roman. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression, regression.